Texan 27. They zone block it to the right. Cut back left, run. It goes to Edwards-Helaire. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Kansas City! CEH with TD1. What a night for the rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire. A great cutback run.
Hey everybody, the 2020 football season is finally here, and that means the post-game edition of The Breakdown is back as well. I'm your host, Matt McMullen, and today we are talking about the Chiefs' victory on opening night over the Houston Texans. Really exciting night over at Arrowhead Stadium with a Super Bowl banner being revealed, something we've been waiting for 50 years, but none of that mattered once the ball was kicked off. In fact, things didn't really go great at first. The Chiefs had a 65-yard touchdown wiped out after a video review, and then the Texans took an early lead with an impressive touchdown drive late in the first quarter. Yeah, it was early, but this kind of felt like a gut check kind of moment for the Chiefs. Celebratory nights like this can turn quickly in a hurry if everybody isn't focused on the present. That Patriots game that the Chiefs won back in 2017 comes to mind. But as we saw over the next 3 quarters, this team wasn't going to let the Texans ruin banner night. We'll dive into the game here in a moment, but first, let's hear from Coach Reid.
Okay, so as far as the injuries go, Saunders dislocated his elbow, but it looks like it's clean. There doesn't look like there's any damage in there other than the dislocation, which isn't great, but it's better than the alternative. Okafor has a slight hamstring, and then Ward fractured his hand. So, and he'll get that rechecked again tomorrow. So, listen, I'm proud of our players, but I'm also proud of our fans that came out there. They were extremely loud, 17,000 strong, or whatever that number ended up being. And likewise with our operations crew, Mark Donovan and his staff, I thought did a tremendous job of putting on this event, getting everything organized. It's not as easy as it looks. And with the social distancing and then our fans wearing their masks and doing the things they're supposed to do. And I just keep encouraging them to keep on, man, because we want to keep you in the stands. And if we're going to do that, we got to do the right thing. So let's keep rolling with that. And then obviously our players, both sides of the ball and special teams, I thought were solid. For our first game, listen, there were some good things that were done, some great individual performances, and some young guys that had some nice performances. So all in all, a good day.
For sure, a pretty good day, particularly considering the circumstances surrounding this game and this season. You will always take a victory to start week 1, and this was a pretty convincing one over a solid team. All right, let's jump into this one from where the game really turned. The final score doesn't show it, but there was a time in this one where the Texans had all the momentum. They forced the Chiefs to punt on their first possession and followed it up with a pretty impressive touchdown drive. Then the Chiefs came up short on 3rd down on their next drive, but despite being at their own 34-yard line, Andy Reid elected to go for it, and well, the rest is history. Anthony Sherman picked up the first down on a 2-yard run, and after that, the Chiefs began to execute their will. Later on that drive, the Chiefs strung together a 4-play series that got the offense cooking. Patrick Mahomes found Travis Kelce for 15 yards, Sammy Watkins for 10 yards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire broke free for an 18-yard run, and then Mahomes found Watkins again for a gain of 13. The offense that we know and love was humming, and a few plays later, they were in the end zone as Mahomes found Kelce for a 6-yard touchdown.
Mahomes fires for the end zone, caught! Kelce, touchdown! Kansas City shielding his shoulder just inside the linebacker, and the Chiefs cap off a spectacular drive.
So this thing was all tied up after Kelce's touchdown, and now it was up to the defense to keep the momentum going. Houston moved the ball really well the drive prior, so this Chiefs defense was fired up, and they delivered. Houston had to punt after just 4 plays, with the drive stalling after Alex Okafor and Chris Jones combined to sack Deshaun Watson.
To throw, Watson now in trouble, being chased. Chris Jones has him and takes him down. The Sack Nation delivers its first statement of the 2020 season, blowing through the right side protection. Former Chief Zach Fulton had no shot at right guard.
The Chiefs then got the ball back and proceeded to embark on a 16-play, 91-yard drive that chewed up more than 9 minutes and ended with a 2-yard strike from Mahomes into the arms of Sammy Watkins.
Chiefs now shift to 3 wide to the right. In motion, Watkins. They throw a quick screen. Watson with the catch. Leaps forward. Touchdown! Kansas City. They motioned to trips and then brought Watkins back and threw him a quick screen. The sausage blew up the guy in front of him, and the Chiefs complete a brilliant 16-play, 91-yard drive.
That score had the Chiefs ahead and punctuated a truly impressive drive. It was the Chiefs' first series to consist of 16 or more plays and end with a touchdown since the 2015 season. And even looking across the league last year, there were only 17 such drives throughout the NFL. You don't see long drives like that often, but this one had the Chiefs in front. We also saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting some serious work on that possession. He touched the ball 9 times and picked up 39 yards, including a stretch where he got the ball on 5 of 6 plays. He was awesome, and on that drive alone, you could really see what this dude can bring to this offense. Here's what Patrick Mahomes had to say about his newest weapon.
I mean, he's been doing it since the day he got here. I mean, he's been working hard. He's been learning from his mistakes, and he's been running the ball between the tackles and catching out of the backfield. And so I thought the offensive line did a great job of giving him holes to run through, and he hit it every single time. And so he's going to keep getting better. It's another weapon that I kind of have in this offense, and we're going to keep doing whatever we can to keep moving the ball and scoring touchdowns.
Following Clyde's touchdown, the Texans then tried to respond on their next drive. But a long field goal sailed wide right, and yet again, the Chiefs had a chance to add to their lead. They went on to cover 48 yards in just 25 seconds, setting Harrison Butker up for a field goal that made it a 10-point advantage headed into halftime. This team in a nutshell, everybody. They chew up 9 minutes and tally 16 plays on a scoring drive, and then move 48 yards in less than a half minute a drive later. This offense can score however they want. The second half was more of the same, beginning with a 27-yard touchdown run by who else? Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Ball at the Texan 27. They zone block it to the right. Cut back left, run it. Goes to Edwards-Helaire. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Kansas City! CEH with TD1. What a night for the rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire. A great cutback run.
Edwards-Helaire was simply incredible in this game. He finished with 138 yards on 25 carries, and from his shiftiness to his running the ball like every carry was his last, I just came away really impressed with what he could do on Thursday night. What a debut for him, and what's looking like a really promising young career. And what better way to finish such a great debut than to find the end zone on a long touchdown run. Clyde walked us through that touchdown following the game.
Ultimately on that first run, normal for us, it's a normal inside zone call. Boy, he ended up pretty much getting everything cleared out, and then at that moment, I only had one person to make miss as far as the safety coming down. And watching film throughout the week, watching the games from last year, watching the 2 games that Houston played Chiefs last year, just knowing and understanding how everybody played, on their defense, and ultimately me pretty much being the only player that never on the offense that never got a chance to play him. So, just kind of film study. Film study was big for me, and that's kind of like how that's pretty much how that long run happened.
And speaking of impressive rookies, defensive back L'Jarius Sneed also made a play in this one. He picked off Deshaun Watson early in the fourth quarter for his first career takeaway.
Again, protection breaks down. Now Watson's in trouble. The ball flutters in the air. Intercepted on the left side. Picked off. L'Jarius Sneed is a rookie. 20 down and angling out of bounds. Hello, L'Jarius Sneed. Welcome to the Chiefs' kingdom. An interception into Houston territory to the 17-yard line. There's the explosive defensive play brought about by pressure.
Sneed showed off his blazing speed, which ranked 4th at the NFL Combine earlier this year, on his return. It also really just punctuated an impressive defensive effort from these guys. The Texans couldn't get anything going drive after drive, and Sneed's takeaway seemed like the nail in the coffin. Mitch mentioned the pressure that created the interception. It was brought by who else? Tyrann Mathieu. Here's what Mathieu had to say about that play from his point of view.
Yeah, I'm just doing my job, man. Trying my best to, make an impact on the play. A lot of what I do don't show up on a stat sheet, but I love to do it. So I'm just happy that he caught it. We left a lot of those interceptions just like that on the field last year. I think we dropped maybe 10 or 11, as a group. So to see the kid focus in, lock in, catch the ball, and then show his 4.3 speed, I think that's why he's starting for us right now.
Just an awesome all-around defensive play there. And the best part, the offense cashed in on it as Mahomes found Tyreek Hill for a 3-yard touchdown just a few minutes later.
Sprinting to the right side, fires Tyreek Hill. He's got it. Touchdown, Kansas City. The third touchdown pass of the night for Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs convert on 3rd and goal from the 2.
That made it 31 unanswered points for this Chiefs offense after falling behind early. 31 points. Just an incredible eruption from this offense, and a great effort too from the defense as they held Houston scoreless after their early touchdown until the game was out of reach midway through the 4th quarter. But here's the thing. Houston scored a few touchdowns late when the game really wasn't in doubt, but Tyrann Mathieu didn't care about the situation. He was frustrated the defense let up at all.
No, I'm pissed off. I felt like, we played, fairly decent, up until probably the last couple stretches, in the 4th quarter. Just started giving up big plays, big chunks, things that we weren't necessarily doing throughout the game. So in my mind, we got a lot more work to do. Felt like if we would have held those guys at 7 points, it would have been a much better feeling. I think those guys scoring 20 kind of leaves a bad taste in our mouth. So we got a lot of work to do. I'm looking forward to next week.
I just love that attitude from Tyrann, and I truly believe it's what makes this team so good. They are never satisfied. Most teams would be riding high after a performance like that. The Chiefs just held Deshaun Watson to a relatively pedestrian game, but Tyrann isn't thinking about that at all. He's thinking about the 2 touchdowns they allowed when the game was basically over. I just love that mindset, and it'll pay off for this team down the road. All right, let's transition now into my 3 stats to know from this game. My first stat is 130. At 21 years and 152 days old, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the youngest player in NFL history to rack up at least 130 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown in his NFL debut. We've been talking all offseason long about the extra element this dude can add to this Chiefs offense, and we saw it here right away in Week 1. My second stat is 51. Patrick Mahomes tossed 3 touchdowns on Thursday night for the 19th time in 37 career games. So, in other words, Patrick throws for 3 or more touchdowns 51% of the time. That is absolutely absurd. He consistently makes the spectacular seem ordinary, but we have to remember, this is not normal. The dude is special, and he's already off to a flying start in 2020. That really goes for the whole offense, too. Here's what Travis Kelce had to say about this offense's performance as a whole on Thursday night.
It's a group that's been together for a while now, and we know, especially on the offensive side, we know the intentions of the play caller. That's the biggest thing, is understanding what Coach Reed and Coach Bieniemy are dialing up for us, so that we can paint a picture for Patrick and execute the plays, man. And you saw that today. It felt like we were in sync just about the whole game.
In sync, indeed. Lastly, my final stat is 10. The Chiefs have now won 10 straight games dating back to last season. In that time, they're averaging 31.8 points per game while they're allowing just 16.4. That is absolute dominance, everybody, and it is so exciting to see this team pick up right where they left off last season. Okay, let's wrap this thing up with some final thoughts. The recipe was there for the Chiefs to struggle tonight. As much as they're trying to turn the page from the Super Bowl, we dropped a banner at Arrowhead Stadium celebrating how good these guys are. Then a touchdown got called back, the Texans put together an impressive scoring drive, and the offense didn't quite get going right away. For a lot of teams, things would continue trending downward, but not the Chiefs. They stayed focused on the task at hand and did what they do. They dominated a pretty good football team in the Houston Texans, and they did not look back. I love this team not only for their highlights and their lethal scoring attack, but also for their resiliency. And while the box score may not really tell that story, we once again saw some resiliency from this group on Thursday night. That's all I have for this one, everybody. Thanks so much for listening as always, and I will see you next week as we get ready for the LA Chargers. Until then, this is Matt McMullen, signing off.